Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've actually got kind of a small haul this week, so won't take too long to get. But considering the small haul this week, there were some issues with the shop I get my comics at getting their entire shipment this week. I, of course, buy my comics on Wednesday, and the owner of the shop said that basically the rest of this week's Marvel books would be in, well, Thursday. So, next week's probably going to be a big week. Anyway, so let's get started, shall we? Kicking things off, we've got Avengers Number 54, the one Marvel book I was able to get this week. From my pull list, that is. Alright, so where we left off, multiversal Masters of Evil are attacking the Avengers Number 616, with Doom above all and Kid Thanos attacking Avengers Mountain, and kind of laying waste to the place. Our last issue ended with the mountain seemingly exploding. Meanwhile, Captains America and Marvel had gone to Kansas, initially to attend a funeral of a soldier that Cap had fought alongside, but then also to show Starbrand, who had come along with them at Cap's request, the home, her mother's home, and they were attacked by Black Skull and Ghost Goblin. When the three heroes managed to managed to at least temporarily defeat the two masters that attacked them, in part by Starbrand using a sizable amount of power at once. Starbrand went from being a child to, a young child, to being, at the very least, a teenager. So, and Iron Man and Thor have been dealing with the Phoenix, her Berserkers, and King Killmonger. But we begin with Captains Marvel and America heading back to the Avengers Mountain and trying to figure out what had happened. Deathlock explains what it was that happened with Starbrand, explaining that she had just sacrificed years of her life because of him, because Deathlocks are being hunted. And he vows to her that he will do all of those powers of Deathlock to make certain that her sacrifice is not in vain. But he's cut off in the middle of that by a flaming Mjolnir crashing through the plane. And it turns out that one of the Phoenix's Berserkers is a Thor. And that's when Thor joins the battle, leaning very much into the whole Phoenix. A host of the Phoenix Force is Thor's mother, but Echo shows up to assist, having been on Asgard to talk to Thor. And she's taken the Berserker's Mjolnir, and so Thor and her both throw their Mjolnirs at the Berserker and the Phoenix. Meanwhile, on Avengers Mountain, Namor and Black Panther are trying to make sure everyone survives while the damage isn't too bad. Valkyrie has discovered the extent of Deathlock's injuries, explaining that the Deathlock that she had found. explaining that Deathlock has suffered catastrophic injuries. Multiple large pieces of shrapnel have to be excised from him immediately, and they don't have time to move him. So she'll just have to do the surgery right there, using the all weapon to make a scalpel. The fight between the Thors continues. And he lets loose with Phoenix Flames, which seem to injure the Berserker, and Phoenix leaves. And Echo tells him that she'll tell him anything that is within his power when he ever asks who is he, adding though that he is what he's always been. And he says sort of that he'll tell her what she is. She's an Avenger. But Cap explains that Cap's trying to contact the Avengers Mountain, but they can't answer the phone right now. Meanwhile, Doom and Thanos are watching the mountain burn when Mephisto and his bodyguard Howard Stark show up, and Mephisto notes that notes the death of Orb from Avengers Number 50. With Mephisto stating that Orb was in possession of one of the Eye of the Watcher. It serves as a storehouse for all the secrets of this world. And Mephisto accuses Doom of burning the Watcher's eye to ash to keep the eye from Mephisto. Mephisto tells Doom to unburn it, and even states that he can tell when someone's lying, especially someone wearing a mask. But Doom unburns the Eye of the Watcher, and then takes a bite out of it. But Howard Stark, the Iron Inquisitor, does not trust the Masters, and tells Mephisto that Doom knows what he and the rest of the Council are planning. But Mephisto insists that Doom's intrigued, waiting for the chance to turn everything to his advantage. But Mephisto, who this whole time has been in the form of a large hound, can eats the remnants of the eye. The Quinjet arrives at Avengers Mountain. Orb's body is flung into the Arctic Ocean. What is done to help the injured is done. Namor explains that he's here to help, but he has some demands, saying he will not sleep among the Avengers. He will rise from death only when needed. Cap is the one to actually give him what for, stating that Namor's actions these last few months haven't been forgotten because she all guilted him in the showing up. So Cap gives Namor some demands. Namor will answer for any crimes he's committed from then on. He's to be considered in Avengers custody. The Mountain may have seen better days, but they still have rooms with bars that even he can't break. And Cap will haul Namor into one of them himself if need be. And Namor accepts. And just showing us how big the rift has grown between Namor and Cap. When Namor calls him Steve, Cap walks away and tells Namor to call him Captain Rogers. This apparently surprises Namor, figuring that if anyone needed convincing, it would be Black Panther. And Black Panther says, yeah, he despises Namor. Far worse than Steve ever will. But, yeah. Meanwhile, turns out that Valkyrie has saved the life of the Deathlock, saying he's alive, sort of, adding that she was able to save the Deathlock's body, and being plugged into the Celestial's necrotech, or Celestial necrotech of the place, is keeping him breathing, but there's no brain activity. However, it turns out that had he's plugged into the Celestial necrotech, he has taken over the body of Avengers Mansion, or Avengers Mountain. And thinks to himself that no matter what it takes, he will avenge his the fallen Deathlocks, and that is where the issue ends. First off, I want to talk about the cover because, seriously, that looks like something you see on like the cover of I don't know, like 80s, an issue of 2000 AD from like the 80s or something. And I love it. I love that for it. But yeah, good issue. The story's coming along nicely. Of course, Mephisto is plotting because, well, Mephisto. And yeah, interesting to see that the significance of orb significance is known. But yeah, anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Blue and Gold number 7, where we left off, having solved the property dispute about over Earth. Booster and Beetle have returned, and Jaime Reyes, the other Blue Beetle, was seemingly attacked. So we begin with some testimonials about Blue and Gold restorations. Apparently they got a creepy old vampire out of a woman's basement. Varmints from Dimension X out of a guy's barn. They brave demons of darkness to restore a mystic's magics. And they got a little girl's cat out of a tree. With apparently stating that what they're doing is free of charge. Whoever it was that kidnapped Blue Beetle is decided to send a henchman after the Blue with the Gold. As whoever he is has a plot that involves Jaime. But his henchman is known as Nullifex. So Terry talks with the guys, basically kind of saying, you guys need to make, this is all well and good, but you need to make money. But while they have a please pay me page, and it's got over 100 donations, they're all small. They're all under 100. Most of them are under $100. So, but there's a explosion, so they go investigate, and it's Nullifex wrecking shit, and basically saying he is there to erase that he's to be thought of as an eraser. Here, return the world to blank slate status. But Booster and Beetle start dealing with them. Elsewhere, Jaime wakes up, sees what's going on. And, of course, Booster's streaming the fight. But Jaime ends up saving the guys. Buggles teleports null effects elsewhere, and Jaime goes to deal with them, followed up by Booster and Beetle. A plan is enacted where Booster uses his force field belt to instead of protect himself, it's wrapped around Null Effects' head. Null Effects fires his disintegration beams and destroys himself in the process. Beetle's not happy that Buggles suggested such a strategy, and Booster and Beetle offer Jaime a place with blue and gold restorations, and he turns them down, claiming that if he's working with them, he's always going to be the other Blue Beetle, and he's put a lot of effort into being Blue Beetle, not the other Blue Beetle. So, which honestly, completely understandable. But elsewhere, we discover just who Jaime's kidnapper was. It's none other than the Black Beetle, with the last page stating that his identity will be revealed at last, and that is where the issue ends. I want to say there have been multiple Black Beetles. I remember there was. I can't remember. I remember there was one that was related was related to Ted somehow, and was pretending to be a good guy, and then said, "Oh, but really, I'm the bad guy." And then, yeah, I think that story kind of stopped. That story arc never went anywhere, as I recall. I think he was working with Destro and Per Degaton back in Johns' Justice Society run. There was a time travel. They had a time travel related plot, and I think Black Beetle also got involved in the post Infinite Crisis Booster Gold ongoing. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got The Flash, number 780, part 3 of War for Earth 3. So, War for Earth 3, Amanda Waller, leader of the Suicide Squad, has gone to take over Earth 3, kind of explaining that, telling his friend, hey, look, I'm not here to steal your thunder. Be worshipped by the people. I don't care. I'm just here to make sure that, I'm just taking care of the small things, law enforcement, keeping the trains running on time. That's all. But Rick Flags organized his own squad to take her on. So it begins with Johnny Quick of Earth 3 showing up in Central City and going after the Flash Museum. Earlier, however, Iris is trying to find her and Wally's kids, and apparently she now has super speed, which she discovers one of the definite downsides of super speed. You have a tendency to, destroy your normal clothes, especially shoes. Then Wally shows up with the kids, as well as Animal Man's daughter, and but Wally gets Maxine back home, and then heads back and promptly goes back himself. Nice little family reunion, and apparently Wally and it's not Iris, it's that's right, Linda. Iris and Linda, their son has his powers back, and at Iron Heights Penitentiary, the warden recruits the villain Blacksmith to help him. But Wally, he's got a million things on his mind, including the fact that no one's seen Barry in a while. But then someone breaks into the Flash Museum, someone being Johnny Quick, and also vandalized the place, tearing up banners, marking up statues, or decapitating statues, depending on on which one. But Flash shows up. They duke it out with Quick explaining that he's not here to be a villain. He just needs the treadmill. Well, Waller needs it, and sent him for it. But meanwhile, Mirror Master is also there. So Wally and Johnny duke it out. Mirror Master shows up to prevent Johnny Quick from getting the treadmill. Kind of a Waller wants it, so Flag wants Waller to not have it. But Johnny Quick states that he saw there were things he saw, including Wally's death while he was with the Speed Force. But while Wally is distracted by Mirror Master, Johnny Quick hops on the treadmill and utilizes it. And Mirror Master kind of says, "Hey, look, you have no idea what's going on." And Wally asks him to fill him in, but it's like, "Yeah, no time. Sorry." And that is where the issue ends. This feels like it really should have been more of a prologue issue than a part of the actual crossover. So I feel like that everything that happened probably happened before War for Earth 3 #1. But otherwise, good issue. Kind of makes me miss reading the Flash regularly. I mean, now that Wally's back, now that the book is focusing on Wally, I mean, might just start doing so. We'll see. Moving on to our next book, though, we got Justice League number 74. Where we'd left off, Black Adam had been possessed by an ancient Lord of Chaos named Xanadoth, and so to stop him, the combined forces of Justice League and Justice League Dark forcibly summoned Lord of Order Naboo to basically see how they could stop him. Naboo, however, took an interest in, was disinterested with the League's pleas, but noticed something interesting about one of the members, Naomi, and seemingly kidnapped her. So the issue begins with the two of them having a talk. Mainly, Naboo wanted to know who she is, or what she is, rather. Trying to figure out, because maybe she could actually help against Xanadoth. Meanwhile, Xanadoth has taken Madame Xanadu, implying there's a connection between the two of them. However, he doesn't want to tell. Xanadoth doesn't want to tell Madame Xanadu what it is. Then the League shows up to deal with Xanadoth. Using protection spells and the like. However, it's not until Naomi arrives. Oh, they do, however, manage to separate Black Adam from Xanadoth, and he's not happy, to say the least. But when Naomi returns, she unleashes her power on Xanadoth and seemingly defeats him. But everyone manages to chip in. And Naboo pulls Xanadoth and Black Adam into his other dimension, and Adam deals with Xanadoth. And Nabu explains to Naomi that, or Fate, rather, Dr. Fate explains to Naomi that her powers magnify magic. And she lets off another blast against Xanadoth, defeating him. But Adam's palace is ruined, and Adam, was like, "Hey, I'll take care of this. Okay, just leave me to it." But Batman informs him that them helping rebuild someplace they just smashed, especially when it's the home of one of their members, is part of what they do. At the Hall of Justice, they're assessing threats, and Batman compliments Naomi, saying that this past week's been quite the ordeal. It was a lot for her first week, even for them. And he adds that she did an outstanding job. But and they go off to answer an alert, and that is where the issue ends. With the teaser of next issue, Death of the Justice League and Dark Crisis begins. Good issue. It kind of feels like the idea is that this issue kind of wraps up everything that's been going on in the series up to this point, with then kind of 75 just being a midpoint to say, okay, League's dead. Now we can go in and beginning the whole Dark Crisis thing. But moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Refrigerator Full of Heads, number 5. Where we left off, turned out that Wade Clawson, the thought deceased sheriff of Brody Island, was only thought deceased. But he explains that as June Branch had cut him in half with the axe, well, he survived, sort of. Pulled himself out, yeah. And our heroine doesn't believe it. And so, turns out that Clawson has made a deal with Erica Branch to get all the weapons, and, well, yeah. But Erica's changed her mind, decided that she wants them for herself, so, yeah. However, Wade utilizes, I think it's the belt of the Midgard Serpent, and becomes a giant serpent and attacks Branch and her posse, and goes after June. But June tries to run. We learn that our protagonists are a part of the Department of Defense Office of Irrational Metallurgy. She wants to know where June Branch is, however. So, but Erica ain't telling. So, well, first, the axe is used on Erica, but Erica's still not talking. However, the sword of Hugo Immunin, well, it seals thoughts and memories, and so Erica gets stabbed in the head with it. And across the island, Wade is heading to the old Clawson residence with June. As is our protagonist to save her. And it turns out she's attached the still alive-ish shark head to the front of her car. Which, well, you know what? Yeah. Just, yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I'd probably shit myself if I saw that coming towards me. And that is where the issue ends. We got one issue left of the series, so yeah. I keep saying this is like the no budget sequel to if Refrigerator Full of Heads were a horror movie made in the early to mid '80s. Refrigerator Full of Heads is the mid to late '80s no budget sequel, and I love it for that fact. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.